5, and I'm also like 4 weeks behind or something like that. So it's been an interesting run of what happened since EvilCon, and I had LAN War, which was the 24-hour PC gaming event, and so I was awake for most of that. We were actually a little more understaffed than we were expecting, so I slept maybe an hour and a half underneath a table when I had a break. And as soon as that event was over, it was like noon to noon. As soon as that event was over, I came home, showered, and immediately went to go shoot the woodsy scene that I did. And so I was awake for around, 36, 40 hours, and I was talking almost the whole time, giving direction and answering questions and whatever, and talking over a crowd, so my voice was very strained. And of course, when you don't sleep, your immune system is low and you start to get sick. And then the next weekend, I went to Tennessee to go to MTAC. Again, it was speaking over a crowd for about 3 days. So by the end of that weekend, I sounded like a squeaky toy because my voice was just gone. So I'm still recovering from that. Actually, if I talk for too long, I start to lose my voice again. I sound fine right now though, which is awesome, so I can have regular conversations and not sound like a chew toy. So the week after MTAC, I had a friend who was shooting her final project around the same time I was, and I lucked out because a lot of her friends who were dancers were in the studio when I needed to shoot my fairies, and because they're all dancers, they knew how to leap gracefully, which you'd be surprised is very, very difficult to do. I think there was one out of the 3 or 4 girls that were there that wasn't a dancer by trade, and she had a really hard time focusing on all of the different aspects of her body that she needs to pose. There would be a hand doing a weird pose or a foot doing something weird. So I really just lucked out with that one. I underestimated how much time it was going to take to put all of these layers together, especially because I wanted to do 13 images. And it wasn't until I had it up and really looked at it that it looked more like a storyboard for a video, which I haven't really dabbled much into video yet because editing video, like, these videos are already, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I don't really want to dive into filmmaking or anything of that sort yet. So the fairies were really fun to shoot, and I had a lot of textures to shoot, but putting them all together and making it look convincing was very hard. So my project went from 13 to 8, and I only got one image. I probably spent 8 hours on the editing aspect of that alone, and that was maybe 70% of what I consider a good image. I've got a long way to go on that. So I have a problem with thinking that I'm a robot that can do things in a time schedule that works for non-human entities. So I'm gonna try and be better about that, but you can only do so much. This project has actually been really good for me to learn what is too much and how to do timing. Also, going back to the fairies and the texture, learning about perspective when taking photos. I know that that was one of the things that I was trying to focus on at the house with the staircases and all that. The perception is really important, especially when you are superimposing things. So I had leaves that I was using as wings for these fairies, and finding a little set of leaves that are like this rather than this or anything else was very difficult. And there are things in Photoshop you can do to bend it and skew it and warp it, but I'm still learning how to do that, so I'm not very good at it yet. The hallway show that I went at, that was the one that I put up a giant photo of the one that I was closest to happiest with a smaller image next to it. And the day before, I went to a jazz exhibit that had David Baker and Monica Herzig, and it was a talk about a book that was coming out about the jazz legends of Indiana Avenue. It was a really interesting talk, and I cut it on video, but that's going to take me a while to edit because it's very long. And I was helping my mother, who is an elementary school music teacher, with her students because they ended up playing recorder with Monica Herzig and a saxophone player and a trumpet player. and it was adorable, but the audio quality is gonna be a little bleh because I'm not very good with recording on a camera. So it's gonna take me a minute to tinker with all that, but I should have that up in the next couple of months whenever she begs me to finish it. So next week is finals, and so things are going to be a little wonky. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull a photographer for myself in the amount of time that I have, so I'm probably going to end up doing another personal project. I would like to incorporate costumes, but who knows what's going to happen. This whole month has been very busy and hectic, so hopefully next week is going to be a little more calm, I hope. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.